I'm Johnny Marr. I'm Watch Sales Director at www.iconicwatches.co.uk. We're doing a series of reviews of recently introduced watches. I hope you enjoy the content we've arranged for you. Today we're going to be reviewing perhaps one of the most iconic watches in the world, which is the Jaeger coultre Reverso Duo in pink gold. This watch is the oldest continuous in production wristwatch in the world right now. It has to be probably the strongest model that Jaeger coultre makes, certainly within the Reverso range of watches. The history of this watch is quite interesting. It was first created in 1931, supposedly at the request of British polo players in India, and does represent an absolutely beautiful piece of Art Deco design. The watch, they were often owned by members of the British royal family. Traditionally, these watches, the very early examples, and Jaeger do still manufacture some according to the old design, had a solid case back, which was just plain metal, which was often engraved with a family coat of arms or a monogram. This model's a lot more interesting in that it wouldn't be as useful for playing polo, in that it has got sides, both sides for watch do have a dial on. This watch is a slightly larger case than the very first watches made in the 1930s, and is Grand Tail or GT case size, being 42mm in length by 26mm in diameter. The watch actually has 2 time zones on it. The dial you can see displayed on the watch right now is the classic dial, which was designed to be worn during the day. And if we flip the watch over to the other face, as we will be doing shortly, you'll see a beautiful Art Deco black dial on the reverse, which was traditionally designed to be worn at night. This also has a second time zone complication. The movement in these watches is fantastic. It's a manual wind. It does have a power reserve of around 45 hours. This particular watch isn't the very latest incarnation of the pink gold Jaeger coultre Reverso Duo. This is a watch from 2006. And if you have a look on the case side above the crown, the newer models actually have a button which comes out here, whereas this has the traditional recessed button. And you can see there's a stylus that comes with the watch. This is for adjusting the second time zone complication on the reverse of the watch. I actually believe this has much cleaner lines than the latest model and is probably a more desirable watch for that. You can see the day face of this watch simply has a subsidiary seconds indication at 6 o'clock on the dial, and I don't know whether the camera will be able to show you the finish, but we've got a beautiful guilloche machine turned finish on the dial. Now if we go to turn over the face to the reverse, we push on the case side, you'll see it clicks out. You've got this beautiful machine finished effect on the case on the inside, and you can see the case is actually fixed by ball bearings on either side of the case, which fit into the case recesses. And we'll turn the face over to the night dial, which I think you'll agree is absolutely beautiful. Obviously here we have a second time zone indication with the time displayed in 24 hours increments on the bottom sub dial. If we have a look at the clasp on this watch, it's got a beautiful rose gold, what we call the deployment clasp. So rather than a standard pin buckle attachment, we have a rose gold deployment which opens like this. You see it's absolutely beautiful and does have a bit more longevity than the traditional pin buckle clasp, which tends to crease the leather. This watch is often referred to as the Thomas Crown Affair watch, in the original Thomas Crown Affair film with Steve McQueen. Steve McQueen actually wore one of these. You can see the condition of this watch is absolutely immaculate and as new. Like a lot of the pre-owned watches we sell at Iconic Watches, it's had a full case and bracelet refurb. The watch retails currently for just under £10,000, and we're asking 4,995. So this does represent fabulous value for money.